Nothing better than getting off the job, coming home, getting comfortable, and just kicking back. What's up, Respawn? Was that always there? 2016. Are we approaching 2 years? Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get old. If anything, it's just gotten familiar. This profile is not permitted to play online. What the fuck? Okay, do I have to move? I'll do it. I guess now's a good time to go back to the story. Okay, so I only have 3 levels left, but not really in the mood for that. I only want to play some multiplayer. Why you gotta do this to me, Respawn? Frontier Defense, eh? Alright, well, let's try this out. Brand new to it, so I guess the top tiers are closed. Must have to do something. Just the regular Titans, okay. Oh, okay. So this is where it gets a little bit more in depth, where each of them seem to have a extra ability. So I just wanted to take a quick look around. Nothing's like too crazy. Things where you seem to have increased penetration, which makes sense if there's going to be a lot of enemies. I'm going in here blind, guys. I have not seen anything about this mode at all. Watch a tutorial? No, I'm good, thanks. So I'm thinking to myself, who's going to want to play this? Some newer players would want to play, so let's go to the Advocate Network. And I figured if I just put out an invite, maybe somebody wants to play. Wow, that was surprisingly easy. Awesome. One guy dropped out. Alright. Maybe I'll find like-minded people if I just join up myself. Let's try it that way. So let's search, let's speed it up a little bit. I did cut it out, but it actually wasn't that long. It was only, I think it was only like 45 seconds, so that's not bad. Or so I thought. I think you guys will notice in a bit. I did not know, I know nothing. Like, I'm not even sure how you customize the Titan. I'm like, how do I get these cool power levels? It was at this moment that I regretted not watching the tutorial. Total misconception on my part. I assumed you built it up during the time in game, which you do, but I think it automatically unlocks, right? Once you've opened it up, it's not something you earn each game. Is that correct? Because I could not work up my Titan. I didn't know if you had to be in your Titan, be out of your Titan. Again, I didn't even know how to put on the upgrades. There is an armory. So this is me just jumping in and being like, oh, okay, there's a ton of Titans. I'm like, I didn't expect that. It's a good thing I put on the SMR. I have a Thunderbolt. I should have put on the Firestar earlier. But right now I'm just like, how smart is this AI? I know we're only on normal. I'm like, will they just shoot into my shields? Apparently they don't. They're actually pretty good. And I could see them being programmed that they don't waste any bullets maybe, or maybe just a couple to give you the effect that it actually works. But do you guys remember playing Metal Gear Solid where one guy could read your moves and the only way to beat him was to plug your controller into the second slot? You gotta watch out for some AI. It'll whoop you. It'll whoop you hard. Except in StarCraft. No supercomputer can match one fly Korean boy. Into the air I go. And I'm like, okay, can I just make an impact by doing this? Didn't even know what I'm up against right now. I'm like, this is a ton of Titans. I'm like, this is super weird. And it took me actually a while to figure out what had happened. Like, I'm gonna finish this game in a bit. And I'm gonna look at my score and I'm not gonna understand anything that happened. And I'm like, how am I that out of tune? I'm like, this is just tower defense pretty much, right? I actually didn't even know where my harvester was the first time. But that's fine, don't worry, we're gonna redeem ourselves in game 2. But this is what ended up happening. I didn't notice this at the time. The game seems to just abruptly end. By the way, I just got kind of bored and I'm like, will these guys even kill me if I run in here? The answer is clearly yes. But this is the biggest surprise right now. In one video, I was talking about a kill streak, and this is exactly what it would look like. Look what happens if you try to shoot someone with an SMR right now. It would be even. It would be... Yeah, I'm super pumped. Thanks. I didn't know that's where these guys were hanging out. That's why I've never seen them before. I'm like, when am I going to run into these guys? I'm like, I can't choose them. I'm like, that's weird. And this is where they've been hiding the whole time. The last place I would have looked. This is my harvester. I'm like, oh, hello, harvester. Okay, I just learned something about this game type. But that kill streak, Titanfall 3, I think that would be fun. I'm all for kill streaks, especially the ones that were where you can interact. Even if it's a Predator missile where the basic concept is you just need to nail somebody with it. In Titanfall, I could see that being very even in Call of Duty back in Modern Warfare days. If you were by a structure, you could dodge those. You saw them coming. That was good times when COD was COD. Oh, I'm old enough that I can reminisce about COD games. Let's just put it that way. And Halo. How the mighty have fallen. Titanfall, making a comeback. Stay strong. So it's over all of a sudden. I'm like, what happened? Did we lose? Did we win? I'm like, I thought Frontier Defense was supposed to be like a 45-minute endeavor or something like that. Did I get a lot of points? I didn't know again until I checked the scoreboard here at the end. And I'm like, way down here. I'm like, how did they get so many points? I didn't notice I came in the final round. So I did not get the full experience at all. In fact, it was kind of, it kind of sucked in that sense. So I jumped right back in. I'm like, okay, I want the real experience. And this time I got in on the first floor, so to speak. We are going to try to... I want to start talking like it's Fortnite. What is that stuff in my way? Okay, see, that caught me by surprise. They have changed the maps around, apparently. And this time around, it doesn't start with Titans, so I was just thrown for a loop. I'm like, oh, my SMR isn't even going to be as good in this scenario. I end up switching over to a Firestar later on in this game type. I see a lot of cool things, so I'm going to cut out a few parts and just show you what happens if you've never played this like me. I assume a lot of people who come into Titanfall are PvP players. Don't forget, Titanfall 1 was strictly PvP. So if you're a fan of that, and I know you guys are super fans, because super fans of Titanfall 1 are going to play Titanfall 2 regardless. It's the only game that does this. You have nowhere to go. The first time I'm like, let's go Reaper, me and you are gonna have a couple of showdowns here. And I love ripping into Reapers. I went to this armory and I'm like, what is this? Super batteries, amped weapons. I'm like, okay, I can relate with that. I'm like, amp me up. This, I felt like an idiot because I didn't know you had to say, I'm ready. So everyone's waiting for me. There should be an emote where I'm like, sorry guys, sorry. Every game needs emotes these days. There's no reason not to have them. Alright, I'm starting to like get into a groove. I'm like, I am gonna contribute. So, ooh, look, there's sparks. I remember wondering about this one time, and it's just when you go onto your side, I guess you're like knee or your shin. I've probably seen this a couple of times, but every time I see it, I'm like, it's the little things. So that's pretty neat. This game type is pretty chilled. I'm not even super familiar with what the mechanics are. There is a shield on this thing that seems to recharge, but I'm not sure if it'll start to recharge even if it's getting hit, because it seemed like it was getting hit and then it started recharging anyways. So I don't know if it's from the first time it gets hit and then there's a countdown. I've only played 2 games and you guys are pretty much rolling with me. What are those? I need a closer look because I don't know what these are. Why is there all these cool things in this game that I've never seen? If you put things like this into multiplayer, okay, imagine these little discs, you throw 3 of them, or 2 of them, whatever, and they're not offensive. Even if they shot, maybe they do very little damage, but their primary use would be for mobility, and with a grappling hook, you can just grapple onto them. I'm gonna grapple a couple of things in this game to kind of give you a taste of it, but you can use it to wall run off of, jump off of, so you can kind of set them like stairs. I don't know if you could put multiple ways to lay them, forward, sides. Maybe I am being very influenced by Fortnite. I just like influence in terrain. I've always thought that was really cool in games. So we're progressing here. We're actually doing really well. We're getting into this next round, and I'm like, you know what? I am not doing that good. I checked out the score. I finally learned about this little board that shows me what kind of enemies are going to be coming out for that round. That's really cool. Information is always good, like some stats as well. I figured I should just follow somebody because maybe they're gonna teach me what I should be doing. Show me the way, brother. I can't do anything about that, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay, guys, because dying in Frontier Defense is actually the best thing that can happen to you. Because then you get a free ride on the shuttle. If you guys were in Canada, you guys would be able to take the air ambulance if you guys were hurt. In the United States, I don't know. Maybe not. That's too bad. Is that offensive to some of you? Well, let's just walk it off, run it off. Well, I'll run it off. Something like that. Well, I'm sorry, am I ticking you guys off? Oh, was that too early? Am I ticking you guys off? This guy just came out of nowhere. He dug right through the room below and then exploded. Don't worry, universal healthcare, I'm back. It's alright, guys. That was pretty neat. Oh, give everyone a grappling hook. I'm still behind that. With the perk, you get the normal 2 grapple. Without it, you get 1. There. I'm generous. I'm a generous grapple god. Have your 1 charge for free. We're at the 3rd wave, so a little bit over the halfway mark, and I'm finally beginning to become a good teammate. I let the Monarch before this get an execution. I helped support my Legion. Now I'm going to go support this next guy. And as Ion, I think that's my whole job, just to laser shot guys. I'm pretty sure that's my only job. My lasers at people, softening them up, and then probably let my team clean it up. I actually do a couple of really good plays, and things get really desperate for a bit. It actually got pretty fun. I was surprised by how fun some of these moments got. Some of them were pretty intense. I did get to actually play around with a couple of the armory perks. Like, I was really confused about them, but I didn't even know I could donate my money. In the end, I ended up just practically donating everything. I held on to it for a bit as well because I didn't even know that you could do that. But I do end up grabbing a couple of the nukes when you rodeo a Titan. Those are pretty neat. So we're on wave 4. We're doing really well. I would like to have completed it my first time around. I guess I technically won, but it sucked because I came in the final round, so this felt like I was actually getting a good experience. Oh. Holy... What is going on? What is this game rated right now? I didn't sign up for a horror show. If I held this ship and like made it crash against the side of that, then we'd be playing Call of Duty because then my guy would come too, and then I'd be like, oh, what's going on? And then this guy would come in and he'd be like, hey, and then he'd try to stab me, and then I'd have to use my data knife and stab him, and that's the plot to every COD game. I'm surprised how well that's worked for them. Don't stab me, oh, I've been betrayed, and Battlefield 1. That was a pretty cool opening campaign. That was awesome. Right in the feels. Oh, I don't even know what happens. I don't know what happens if this goes all the way down. I was actually crushed at this point. I'm like, we put in so much time. I'm like, oh. This actually reminds me of Destiny when you were doing strikes and you get to the end and you fail. We got another shot. Oh, that's so nice of you. This is only normal? Do you get a second shot when it gets to hard? If you don't, that's probably quite the experience. I played Diablo Hardcore and finished it. That was one of the best gaming experiences I'd ever had. And I love bringing it up as much as I can because I'm such a big man of Diablo. I don't know why, but honestly, if I had to find a new job, I would write it on my new resume. It's an accomplishment, and I want that recognition. Diablo Hardcore right here. I just listened to what they said, and it works out pretty well. I'm like, this is a perfect time to use my nuke, and you do get an option, I believe, to use it or not. Boom! I'm like, strategic nukes incoming. It's kind of nice to go around the level and not get killed by a Spitfire all the time. Or a Sentry. Or a laser shot, or a Tone 40mm, or a Smart Core. Oh, did I mention Smart Pistol? Did I already lose you guys? We're doing a lot better this game. This is going to be a sweet victory. I am on point right now, too. If I can close up this side, boom, that's my 2 nukes. Those were pretty cheap. I actually had quite a bit of money. I would invest in a lot of those. I don't know if there's a cap on them, though. Mortar Titans. Those are the ones with the sniper insignia on them. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm wrong. It's the ones that actually look like a mortar. I'm an idiot. That makes a lot more sense. So this was cool. It reminded me of some Gundam stuff. You know, the ones that would just get slaughtered, that the bad guys would send in, and they look like they all had artillery and bazookas, and they just like fire off a few rounds. The other one would dodge them, and then you just light them up. That's pretty much what this was. I don't even have to be in a Gundam, but I have the weaponry one as far as they're concerned. This is gonna be pretty clutch. And I have a battery. I think we're pretty set. This game mode is really starting to win me over. This has been pretty intense. We are almost at the finish line. We have, is this our last chance? Is this kind of like that time warp effect where at the, in the campaign where your watch busts because we're disconnected.